Hello, and welcome to the Inflectra webinar on testing Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central with Rapise. In today's presentation, Denis Markatsev will be going through how you record a new sales order test, and he'll be explaining how you can record different types of control with some examples. He'll also show you how to troubleshoot problems if something goes wrong during the recording or playback process when you're testing. He will then show you how you can take your test that you've recorded and make it data-driven, so you can run the same test through different sets of test data. He will then show you how you can include reusable test elements, for example, how to log into the system, from our Rapise GitHub repository. Lastly, Denis will be then showing you how you can verify the same test works in different browsers, for example, Chrome and Firefox.
So today we are going to record a pretty sophisticated test for Microsoft Business Central, and along the way I will show you how to make this effective and reliable. So let's start from creating a new test in Rapise. So I'm creating locally a test. This is a cross-browser test, so I'm choosing web technology. And I'll be using Firefox for test recording. And I'll be using RVL representation of my test scenario. So I have a blank empty test. And let's open Firefox and navigate to Business Central homepage. So while it is loading, it takes a few seconds. So here in Rapise, I press record button, and it connects to Firefox and will be capturing my actions. So a couple of tips when you are doing recording from browsers with Rapise. So this is automation testing. So not try to be sporadic or very fast as a human. Just try to make all your actions clearly distinguishable and make some pauses between your actions. So this will ensure that all your actions are captured appropriately, and that you can delete some actions if you don't need them. So I will be pretty slow recording my test. So I'm going to create a new sales order. So I press sales and go to sales orders. Okay, you can see that my actions were captured. Then I click new button. And then I need to select a customer from the drop-down. So I will use Trade Research. So here you can see that Rapise captures grids like a complex object. So you can see here that my click on the grid was recorded like a click on the grid, click selection. And also you can see here that I clicked in the column name on the value Trade Research. So it can, this value during playback next time can be anywhere, and Rapise will still be able to find it. Okay, let's add one line to our sales order. So when you record interaction with entering data into a grid, make sure that before entering the data in a cell, you first click into the cell and Rapise captures your click. So now I click on in the type column on item cell, and you can see that Rapise clicked recorded my click as a click cell on row 0. It's 0-based index of the row and in the column type. Then I open the list of choices and then select item. So let's proceed to description. So I click on the cell and Rapise records my click. Click on description column, row 0, open lookup table. Here I can select a value which I want to choose. So I will select Paris guest chair. And my action also recorded. Then I need to enter quantity. So let's scroll a bit to make it visible. Okay. And here I enter in quantity, and the text section was recorded as well. And then I want to enter line discount. So I scroll a bit more. That line discount is in front of me. Click on the cell. Let's give it 5% discount. Okay, so I entered one line of data, and later in our test, we'll parameterize this part of the test, and we'll be able to enter any number of lines of data from a spreadsheet. So the last steps I'm going to record is post. Okay, let's move it away. Okay. Yes. And let's close this sales order and navigate to the home page. Okay, I did all the steps that I wanted to capture, and now I press finish. And here I am inserting new steps into RVL spreadsheet. And here you can see all the steps in RVL spreadsheet. It's pretty simple to understand. So in the object column, you can see names of objects captured during recording. In the action column, you can see actions that should be performed over the object. And if action requires some parameters, then you can specify parameter values as well. All objects that are used here were added to object tree. It is to the left, and objects grouped into under window title names where they were captured. Okay, so here we have a simple test. Let's ensure that this test can be played back. So what I'm going to do is to press play and see how it works. Okay, so Rapise tried to navigate to the URL when the first object was captured, and by default, it tries to find an object for specified amount, makes specified amount of attempts to find the object. So by default in the test, Rapise tries to find an object 5 times with a delay of 300 milliseconds. So apparently during that time, the page did not load. So this is why object was not found. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the main test file that currently contains just execution of our RVL spreadsheet. And I'm going to add here one statement which instructs Rapise to not navigate to any page and just use a page currently open in the browser. This is useful when you debug your test and ensure it works. So later we will remove this line. Okay, so let's start it again. And also, I will increase the number of lookup attempts from 5 to 30. So this is a web testing, and this is a complex, heavy application. Then it makes sense to wait for object to appear on screen for a bit more. Okay, let's play. So this time it is better. So currently all actions are performed by Rapise. So it opens lookup table and selects the value. So now most interesting part, it is going to fill order lines. And also you can see that it's hard to see column names, but believe me that line discount column is hidden. It is at the right of the screen, and you saw now that Rapise performed automatic scrolling to enter data into the cell. Okay, so let's see what happened. So the test says that it executed successfully, but we see that the system is not at their desired state. So sometimes, why it can be with Business Central? Sometimes graphical elements are already displayed on the screen, but clicking on them leads to no effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert a delay between submission of my sales order and last two actions that close the order and go to home page. So here I will insert a wait statement. Global is an object available in every test. And here let's wait for 3 seconds. What I can do now is just play these steps from the current place. So I can play from here and see what will happen. So Rapise should wait and then close and then go to the home page. So now we have a working test, and let's parameterize it. So you can see that all data that is entered in our test, it is scattered somewhere in the spreadsheet. I'm going to gather it in one place. So let's insert a few rows here and create a map. And let's name it items. So I'm going to create a table with items data. So the first is description, quantity, and discount. And I don't need the third column, and I don't need the second line at this point. So the quantity is 1, discount is 5, and what description we can use here? We can use this. So I'm just moving all the data into a map. It's actually a table here. And now in my test, I can just refer to this map. So I'm scrolling to the do click cell action that enters the data. I choose the type of my parameter to items. This is the name of my map I just created. And here in the drop-down, I can select description. So it tells Rapise that here it should just use, okay, it seems that I did something, oh no, I did it correctly. Okay, let's use items and let's use description. Then let's go to quantity. Here we enter quantity. Here I choose items as well and choose quantity column. And the last thing is here line discount. Also get it from items and from discount. All right, so what we can do now is just to execute the test one more time to see how it works. So now it should grab all the data from the table. Okay, it seems that it just missed the sales link. Let me check something here. Let's go to sales order. Okay, self-check when you record something is that DOM Dynamics nav should be plugged in. What we see here is that for some reason actions are not that I expected them to be. Okay, let's reload the page and now it should work. Executing. The problem with Business Central is that it has hidden DOM layers, and when you work with the application, there can be duplicated DOM elements on the same page, and so sometimes when expression of an element is not very reliable, Rapise can miss the control. Though Rapise always tries to record a reliable expression. Okay, now all our data was grabbed from the table. Okay, 3 seconds wait, close, and now we are on the home page again. But what if we need to enter a couple of lines of data? So let's insert spreadsheet into our test. So what I'm going to do here is I have a spreadsheet on my desktop, and let me copy it into my test. So I'm opening the folder of my test and paste the spreadsheet here. I don't have Excel installed, so I cannot open the spreadsheet from Windows Explorer, but I can add it here, and I can double click it here, and Rapise can preview this file for you, and you can even change some values here. So here I have a spreadsheet with 2 lines with different item names, quantities, and discount. And now I'm going to attach this spreadsheet here. For this purpose, I'm creating another type of a map. This is a range map, and I'm going to give this map the same name as I used here. And this way, I will not have to update this part of my test where I use this item map. So this declaration will just override previous map. So here I'm just updating the name of the spreadsheet. Let's get all the data from items, XLS. And what I need to do is to iterate through lines in this spreadsheet. For this purpose, I create a loop. And this loop is of map type, and I'm selecting items here. So it will iterate through all the lines of items, and every time I'll be executing this loop, I'm just moving the end to correct place. So the end is before we post. Let's enter it here. End of our loop. But there is one thing that we need to fix at this point is we now enter all data in the row 0, and we want to enter each new line in the new line, actually, not in the same line. So for this, I create a variable. Let's name it ln, like line number, and its parameter type is number, and initial value is 0. So I just need to use this line number everywhere where I'm clicking in a row. So here is the action clicking on the type column. It should be variable. And here in the drop down, I see my variable. Okay, look up on the type. So here I also need to choose variable, line. Okay, what next? Then I clicked on the description. So I'm parameterizing my test. And then open lookup in the description. I need lines here as well. And a couple of more places. Click on quantity, at line, and enter text at line as well, and line discount. So it can be a bit boring, but it's worth it because we now get data-driven test that just gets all the data from the spreadsheet. So if you will want to enter 3 lines, you can just add 1 more line to the spreadsheet. Okay, now we have parameterized data-driven test. So let's refresh the page. Actually here, let's refresh it. To go to clean state. Okay, executing. So now we should see that 2 lines of data is entered. Parameter type is not recognized. Okay, where? Variable. Okay, what's on here? So I declared a variable. Oh, I did a typo. It was number, not number. So actually, the best way is to select from the drop down to avoid this type of typos. Okay. And when it will work, we will proceed to the part that performs login to the application. So sometimes you need to use different user credentials to log into the system because different users may see different data or different configuration. And as the next step, we will do this. Okay, so failed. Why? Unable to find column description. Why? Because here column name is item. Okay, let's go and fix it. So where we get it, item description. Okay, and unfortunately we cannot proceed from this place because we are inside the loop. So I need to start from scratch to initialize all the maps. Okay, let's check its item, and I type items here. Actually, let's rename it here to item as well to make it look similar. Okay, play. So now we should see 2 lines of data from the spreadsheet entered here. A couple of words about Business Central. This is actually a successor of Microsoft Dynamics NAV web client. So it's built with the same technology. So basically what you see now, you can apply to testing Dynamics NAV web client. It has very similar interface, and Rapise uses same library to interact with it. Okay, what we see here, some strange click. So sometimes when you do a screen sharing session, weird things happen. So where it stopped? So it stopped on the customer name. Okay, let's restart it again. So I'm doing the recording and I'm doing screen sharing. So sometimes there can be some glitches with the mouse. So let's execute again. Here it should choose the company. Okay, item. Oh, so it's strange. It clicks in the wrong place. I don't know why it happened. So it shouldn't be that way, and I don't see where it clicks. Okay, let's proceed to what is oh, I just have in my loop. So this is a human error actually. So I start looping from the beginning. Why? I was saying that, but I'm looping from the beginning of the test. I just need it from here. Map items, and we already have end in the correct place. Okay, so now it should work. So just try to start from the beginning, and that was the reason for the problem. Okay, running. So this time it will work. So such huge apps, it's always a challenge to make everything work smoothly from the very beginning. But Rapise has a lot of tools to troubleshoot and to debug and find out what is wrong. I just saw in the report that Rapise tried to click somewhere at the top of the page. Okay, now second line should be added. Let's go to item again. Wow, what happened? Object is not available on screen. Great. Oh, again, loop is in incorrect place. So I'm copying. So here we choose the name of the customer. Okay, let's add login here to execute it next time with the login part. And at the time it will enter 2 lines of code. So to tell Rapise how to perform the login, we have a repository on GitHub. And this repository will contain some reusable parts that you can use in your test coverages. So I'm going to Inflectra, and the repository name is Rapise PowerPack. So currently it contains just one login script for Business Central. So it is coded in JavaScript. So it navigates to URL, passed as a parameter to this test, uses username and password from parameters, and then performs the login and navigates to the home page. So I have already downloaded this test locally. I just need to add a reference to this test here. So I go to add file, my Rapise test. So here is this test. So Rapise test file. Open. So now this test can be executed from the current test. One thing I need to do is go to this repository, description. So it says that to invoke this test, we need to put this function to users file of the test. And now this function is available in RVL. So here I select object function and choose the action. And here I need to specify URL and user and password. I have these credentials here. So this is the URL to Business Central. So let's put it here. And the username. And I have the password hard-coded in the copy of this test, local test on my machine, so I will not be entering the password here for security reasons. And the last thing is just we need to comment this navigator open. So now I can close my Firefox, and let's also do logout here, sign out. Okay, closing it. So now we have the test that is able to launch the browser and perform the login if it is required, and then we'll do what we just recorded. So I play. Rapise starts Firefox. Okay, enters credentials, signs in, and waits until the home page is loaded. And starts executing all steps. So this login script is pretty sophisticated. If you used Microsoft Online logins, you know that it changes from time to time, and it works very different depending on if you already logged into or not, and the script accounts all the cases. Okay, so now it should enter the second line because we have our loop borders set correctly. It enters in the first line. That's interesting. I know why, because I forgot to increment the line number. Okay, so this is the problem. Let's stop execution of the test. Let's close Firefox, go to the test, and I created a variable line number. Where is it? It is here, and it is always 0. So I need to go to the end of my loop, insert here, type variable, action will be increment, and here I have line number, and I want to increment it by 1. Okay, let's play. So this time probably Firefox will open in logged in state. Oh, no. So the login script performs login for us. Okay. And if it will work this time, then we will execute it on Chrome. So usually the first thing you do is you ensure that the test works in one browser, and if you want some scenario to work in different browsers, then you proceed to adding more browsers to your testing. Okay, into quantity. Line discount. Okay, now it enters the second line. So the first line is hidden. The scrolling is performed automatically by Rapise. Different item, different quantity. Previous line was 1. Different line discount. All data from the spreadsheet. Okay, waiting for 3 seconds and navigating to the home page. Okay, so it works. And now let's check this test on Chrome. What we need to do is just to change the browser. It can be done from the start page. So let's choose Chrome here. And we already have login part. So I just press play and let's see how it will work in Chrome. So you can see that Chrome was launched, not Firefox. And we see, and now Rapise started executing the test, logs into the system. Okay, select the customer, item, and the scoring was automatically performed by Rapise to make the column visible. Into the second line. So at this point, we use just login script from GitHub repository. We have plans to enhance it and add more building blocks that can be just used right away. Okay, so it worked in Chrome browser, and we did not do any changes to make it happen. Okay, let's go to our slides and see what we have here, the summary. So Rapise Recorder actually generates reliable tests. So what you could see in the session that all errors that were made were actually human generated. So just incorrect loop borders and not incremented line number. So Rapise did its job honestly. So Rapise has basic and advanced tools for troubleshooting. Actually, we have time, and let me show you what you can do if for some reason object is not found during playback. So typically when you execute, you may see something like object not found. One of the reasons is why it may happen is that the page is not initialized yet. So to handle that, we added this kick sleep comment. Also, to have Rapise wait for an object for more time than is by default set by the script, we increase the number of attempts. Also, Rapise has one more mechanism that you can use. There is a global do wait for action. It receives object ID as a parameter, and here we can just choose our object and close the page. And what this comment means? It means that Rapise will be waiting for this object to appear on screen. By default, it waits for 10 seconds. So if you want to override this option, you can do the following. Just go to RVL on the ribbon, select params, and Rapise will add optional parameters to the action as well. So here we have 10 seconds by default, and this number can be increased to a different value. And sometimes, even with these things, object is not found, still not found on screen. So this may happen only in the case if express selector of this object is invalid and cannot find the object on the page. So to ensure that this is the case, so where we are, okay, we are on the home page. Let's go to the home page, the sales orders. Here we have a flash, so you can right-click on the object and do flash. And if it is found, Rapise should highlight it. Okay, so it highlighted something. And if it cannot be found, then Rapise will show the error. And let's do the following. So if it is not found, you can relearn this object. So you can select relearn. Recorder will pop up, and it says you just click on the control. So let's click on the control, and this control is updated with the new expression. So if expression still cannot find the control, you can troubleshoot it by launching the spy. We have a web spy that works with any browser, Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer, and shows you the DOM tree. You can paste the XPath on the ribbon and do test XPath. Okay, so if control is not found, you will see the error here. So you can construct XPath expression manually and make sure it finds control reliably. And then you can copy it to clipboard, or you have two options actually. You can either add a new object to the object tree right from SPY, or you can copy this XPath to clipboard, return to a piece, and just go to object properties and update XPath expression here. But Rapise tries its best to generate reliable expression for an element. So here you can see that Rapise supports multi-frame. So this sales link is in the nested frame. So this is why XPath contains two parts. So first part finds iframe. Then we have separator, 3 @signs, and then it searches for the element. And you can see here that it can generate some sophisticated XPath that searches for appearance of a specific class inside class attribute of an element. Okay, so let's flash it. It should flash in the correct place this time. Yes, right. So it was found successfully. Okay, it was about troubleshooting, and I already told you about GitHub repository. Here is the link to the repository, and it will be updated. And now I want to pass word to representative of our partner, Global Mediator. So this company is doing implementation and test automation of Dynamics math solutions, desktop and web clients. So, Sergey Mityasov will tell about his experience with Rapise and how it is used for Dynamics test automation at Global Mediator. So I'm going on mute.
I'm Sergey Mityasov, lead quality assurance engineer from Global Mediator company. First of all, we are searching a lot for the appropriate tool to automate Dynamics NAV testing. Me personally, I'm examined something like 20 or more different tools and find out that no one is not supporting Dynamics NAV well until we found our partners Inflectra company and this Rapise tool. Why actually it's good for me, good for our experience. First of all, we have the full and really appropriate libraries to find, to map NAV controls and manipulate NAV controls, both in role theory clients, in web clients, in 365, which is very important. Usually I receive a lot of questions from our customers, why should I use Rapise and instead of NAV test code units? Because we in Global Mediator working both with test code units and Rapise. Test code units is unit testing. That means you test each function inside your code, and it's very good. It's good practice, but it's time consuming first, and second, sometimes functions are working one by one is working correct, but together it's giving you a mess. So even if you have some unit testing, anyway, you need to make integration tests. Second, to build test code units, to develop test code units, you should use the time of your developers. With Rapise, you can use your consultants, customers, testers, actually any professional with some NAV experience can easily use Rapise, which is very, very useful. As you have seen from Dennis' presentation, it's easy to create the test, it's fast to create, it's easy to use and easy to maintain, which is very important, easy to support. So we have several customers that really using this tool, and they not spend the time of developers to create the test. Usually or customer or consultant or tester create the test. Of course, we are helping to them. Then very important part is support. Inflectra giving really, really fast and professional support. Why it's important? If you try to receive some answers from Microsoft or other big companies, if you have some issues, from my experience, it can take days or weeks. From my experience with Inflectra, I'm receiving the answers to several hours maximum, which is really important for us.
Thanks for watching today's webinar. And in summary, the Rapise recorder generates reliable tests during recording. But if things do go wrong, there are lots of tools within Rapise to help you find the cause of that and fix your tests. Also, when you're writing your tests, don't feel like you have to do it by yourself. We have an amazing repository of reusable test elements called the Rapise Power Pack, which is all available on our GitHub repository. So feel free to use those as we demonstrated in the example. Thanks so much for watching.